This episode is brought to you by Pepsi Wild Cherry. Pepsi Wild Cherry is bursting with delicious cherry flavor and a sweet, crisp taste that gives you more to go wild for. Getting wild may look different these days, but whether it's opting for a solo Friday binge watch or a big night out, everyone can indulge in their wild side with Pepsi Wild Cherry. Also available in Zero Sugar. So grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's do fake reindeer redemption.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
So I discovered last Halloween we did Monster Mash for One Hit Thunder.
Yeah.
And in researching Bobby Boris Pickett, we discovered a little thing about Bobby Boris and the Crypt Kickers, which is that they were the 60s version of like a Wesley Willis.
Okay. Yeah.
They just took one song and they did as many versions of it as they could. So Monster Mash was a number one single. Hit number one on the Billboard.
Some would say it's a graveyard smash.
So song was a number one single, and they followed it up with the Monsters Holiday at Christmas time,
So
and
this
it
is the
reached
second one, right?
it reached 30 on the Billboard charts.
Jesus Christ. So you couldn't even talk about this song for One Hit Thunder.
Technically, yeah, he's a two-hit. He's
Oh
a two-hit
my
thunder.
God.
But then he also did the Monster Swim. He did the Monster Motion. He did Me and My Mummy. He did the Transylvania Twist. There's the Monsters Rap.
So for the folks listening, we've now, like, Matt and I off air we've listened to the Monster Mash before, of course, Monsters Holiday and Monsters Swim, and at least those three songs in this category all sound exactly the same.
Same drum beat, same.
It's the exact same song.
It's amazing, actually. We got to talk about. I get a text message from Dylan as I'm laying on my bed, thinking, I got to get around to listening to the Monsters Holiday, and I get a text from him that says the Monsters Holiday might be my least favorite thing ever. And then I listened to it, and I thought, hey, this isn't so bad. But here's the thing: you then gave me the additional information that you were grading papers and listening to it on repeat. Whereas I felt like after one listen, I got everything I needed to knock out a 30-minute episode about it.
So
I didn't think there was any deeper discussion that I needed to mine from multiple listens. It's essentially the plot of Nightmare Before Christmas, which is crazy.
So when we're gonna talk about a song, just a song, which we haven't done in a while, like where we just tackle one song, I'll usually listen to that song on repeat just to try to catch certain things, like anything that like reaches out into my mind. And honestly, by the fifth listen, all I just kept hearing was do 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 do, and I'm like, fucking stop. I can't do it anymore. It's literally the same song. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I was taking crazy pills. It was absolutely insane.
But here's the other difference.
Yeah.
Like, it was the mash. Like, that, like, rolls off. It
Yeah.
works so well. It was a Monsters Holiday. Feels so
Monsters
forced.
Holiday.
It's so Bobby Boris Pickett was a comedian who found out that he did a really good Boris Karloff impression.
Yeah.
And somehow turned that into a career that lasted him all the way up until his death.
Oh my gosh.
Just showing up, doing guest appearances whenever someone needed. someone to sing the Monster Mash, he would jump up full of excitement and run in.
He's like, it's my time.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoy this. Whatever. It's stupid. You know, it was the
so
night before
dumb.
Christmas, and all through the castle, my monsters were having a Yuletide hassle.
Twas the night before Christmas when all through the castle my monsters were having a Yuletide hassle. The tree was all trimmed in ghoulish things like werewolf fangs and vampire wings.
So for anybody like seriously, cue that up to Monsters Mash because it's the same fucking song. Like
There's
beat
the rhyme.
for beat.
But here's the other thing, and it's not just it was the Monsters Holiday that feels rushed.
Yeah.
There are so many lines in this song that feel like he wrote one word too many in the verse, and he's like trying to like force it all together. Like
They were making a list and checking it twice. Frankenstein wanted a shiny new trike. Like, it's so weird the way he fucking does it. It's so good.
We're making a list and checking it twice. Frankenstein wanted a shiny new trike, a new chain for Janusz, a brace for Igor's back, a speed shaver for Wolfman, a new cape for Drac.
it was a Monsters Holiday. They were up to no good.
Dude, this is wild. Like, I knew that this song existed. I don't think I had ever listened to it. Like, I knew that Boris or Bobby
Boris Pickett.
Pickett had written 50 different like monster songs. I didn't realize that they were just 50 different iterations of the Monster Mash.
Monster Mash.
And
Oh, yeah.
that may make them better.
Yeah, no, I think that is very charming. I also have to admit, I fucking love the Monster Mash. Like, it's not like I kind of like the Monster Mash. I love the Monster Mash. At one point in my life, I would even say it was possibly my favorite song of my, like, you know, from like 3 to 5. I would have been like, oh, my favorite song ever was the Monster Mash. No.
17 to 19.
Yeah, 17 to 19. I was like, motherfucker, you ever hear the Monster Mash? No,
Like,
but it
that's
is-
what I pictured in my head.
I think it's a great.
You with
I
a
think it is a
fucking
great
goatee,
song.
looking like you're ready to kick ass for the Lord. singing the Monster Mash.
Let's see. So the premise is though that the monsters don't think that they're going to get their gifts.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know what we should do? We should beat up Santa and steal all the toys on his sleigh.
Yep.
So they plan to rob Santa's sleigh. The mummy was the signal from the castle roof at the very first sound of a reindeer.
As Santa slid down the chimney wall, the zombies were to make off with sleigh and all. From beyond the moat there arose such a clatter. I jumped to the window to see what was the matter. Like a bolt of lightning it happened so quick, and there in our midst stood old Saint Nick. He began to dig down deep in his sack and came up with the traction for Igor's back.
Drac got his cape, Frankie's trike made him behave, and even Wolfman was happy. Now we can shave. Like, it is insane. It is insane that this song exists. And then he changes the chorus at this point. Because for the first two things, it was like, hey, they were up to no good. They didn't act like good monsters should. They found themselves a new play. They planned to rob Santa's sleigh.
Yeah.
But on this last chorus, he says it all ended well, and Santa was really swell. See, the really didn't need to be there. Like, it all ended well. Santa was swell.
Yeah, and Santa was really swell.
Yeah. No need to rob Santa's sleigh. Maybe next year he'll come back. Doesn't rhyme with sleigh.
Oh, no, this one says no need to rob Santa's sack.
Oh, the lyrics that I got are wrong. Then.
Oh,
that makes way more sense.
I'm on Genius, dude. Genius.
Oh,
don't fuck around.
I'm just on the Google lyrics.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
those are messed
sack,
up.
Sack to back is way better. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like, sleigh into back. What the fuck?
Knowing Bobby Pickett, you
Maybe.
just assume that he's like, oh, fuck it.
So the final verse. So the children everywhere were spared the grief of losing their presents to a monster sleigh thief. And now the monsters love Santa and say they'll behave. They'll never again rob sleighs or graves. And then, as if he hasn't ripped off the Monster Mash enough, he now has a conversation with Igor exactly like the conversation at the end of Monster Mash where he's like, mash good, but now it's Santa good, which sounds like he ate Santa, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Santa good! That he said as he drove out of sight. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
And then just in his like Boris Karloff voice, he just starts quoting different Christmas songs. It makes no sense. The song is insanity.
All the way.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Oh my god, this shit is wild, man. I can't believe this exists. And I also can't believe it got to 30 on the Billboard.
Here's something that's really interesting. So
I'm educating the youth of America, and this guy got rich off of the same song multiple times.
So it says, people who search for this also searched for Monster Mash lyrics by Bobby Pickett Smith, the Chipmunk song from Alvin and the Chipmunks, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer by Elmo and Patsy, and I Farted on Santa's Lap by the Little Stinker.
What is that? I refuse. I am not listening to that.
I'm clicking into it. I just want to hear for myself.
I already got it pulled up. I'm listening to it.
I'm listening to it too.
Mom made beans for dinner.
Not. I got 6 seconds in before I decided I was good on this one.
That's a child. That was a child singing. Did you expect a child?
No, I literally thought, because the picture that I found when I saw this was like a Santa like with a guitar like pointing out into the crowd. So I was like, oh, maybe this is like just some shitty like rock. Like I was like, maybe it's like a punk rock song. Like a bunch of dudes just like formed a punk band and wrote like a stupid song. And then as soon as I heard, Mommy made some dinner, I was like, nope.
This is like a play, like an elementary musical.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the piano is like bum 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 bum.
It's poorly recorded. It sounds like they're in a church. This is wild. I hate you, Matt Kelly.
I didn't make you listen to it. I was going to take that hit and report back. All right. So, look, we might not have a lot to say about the Monsters holiday, but we may have some opinions on the Munsters holiday.
Can I just say, hold on. Before we, and this is kind of bridging the gap between the two. Don't you like how every child interpretation of Dracula, be it this, be it Hotel Transylvania, like, we just throw out the window that this dude eats people. Like, slaughters
Why
and
would we need to
drinks
talk
their
about that?
blood. Like, it's wild to me. Like, you can give a pass to, like, the Wolfman. Like, maybe he's a friendly wolf. But, like, Dracula's only reason to exist is to seduce and then drain the blood of humanity.
That is valid.
Right?
That is a valid concern. I'm glad that you brought up Hotel Transylvania, because here's the thing. You and I both watched The Munsters on our own.
Yes, we did.
And I think we both felt pretty much the same, which is like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's
a thing.
It's not... It's a thing. It's fine. It's so far from the word. Like, here's the thing that I kept bringing up, and I think I brought it up on the Horror Movie Night Facebook page, but I'll bring it up here as well, was like, it's a kid's movie.
Yeah.
It's a kid's movie.
It's 100% a kid's movie.
And I would watch this again before I would watch any of the Hotel Transylvania movies again. Before I would
Even
watch
the first one. The first Hotel Transylvania has actually got some moments.
Especially before I would watch the two like CGI Addams Family movies that we've gotten in the last like 5 years.
That shit.
Like I think that there are so many worse kids movies that are like something you could show your kid if you're a horror fan than what they gave us.
Well, that's the thing is like a lot of and I think I'm picking up your point now is if you look at Hotel Transylvania or The Addams Family, it was like, hey, let's take these spooky things, but let's modernize them. And hey, this movie now has a song with Migos and Snoop Dogg and Cardi B, and they're going to do a rap over the Addams Family, like, theme song. And I'm like, that's not what I want. Where I feel like I don't understand how people, even if you didn't like the Munsters, how anyone can sit there and say Rob Zombie did not have his heart in it. Like,
well, that's
dude,
so.
for real?
I watched a video. There's a YouTube channel that I found maybe 2 years ago called Hats Off Entertainment, and it's a guy who does like these deep
I
dive.
follow them.
Yeah. So Hats Off put out a video last night that was called "The Munsters." It really is that bad. I was like,
used to watch that.
So I clicked into it. I'm like, all right, let me see how angry I'm going to get because I usually like this guy's take, and I will say that he did throw compliments at the start. He's like, let me start off with the things that I think worked. Like, and one of the things was he was like, Rob Zombie's doing the best that he can with the budget that he was provided.
Yeah.
Because he's working with like no money. Like the company that produced this movie is like the people who produced like Tremors 7 and like really like they basically just buy IP off of Warner Brothers that aren't being utilized and make like very cheap straight to DVD sequels.
Why did we
is like
stop giving Rob Zombie money? And
I
because
don't
like
know.
what? Where was the turning point? So like House of a Thousand Corpses, it was originally made by Universal, like with Universal, and that was like Rob Zombie's first movie. Yeah, fuck it, yes, let's do this. Devil's Rejects.
Well, keep in mind, no. We gotta pump the brakes right there though.
What?
Because House of a Thousand Corpses ended up being a Lionsgate release because Universal wouldn't put it out.
That's right.
They didn't want to put it out, so he had to wait a while before. Like that movie was shot in like 2000, and it didn't come out until 2003. Like it sat on shelf for like 3 years. Then he did Devil's Rejects.
He had money.
He did Halloween.
Was given money.
Did Halloween 2. Was given money. So I think it was somewhere around Halloween 2 and Lords of Salem that apparently was around the point where someone stopped trusting Rob Zombie. Because after that is when you get 31, 3 from Hell, and The Munsters. And my friend was explaining this to me, and I'm pulling from a memory of something they were saying to me like forever ago. But that it basically like he made Halloween.
Yes.
They set a release date for Halloween 2. He said, I don't want to make Halloween 2. They stuck with their release date and still had like no script, no director, nothing.
Yeah.
And like came to him with like six, like it was like, what do you want for, like, could you make this movie? Could you write and direct this movie in under 6 months? And have it ready for an October release. If so, we'll give you whatever you want, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think he was like, I want a guarantee to do the Broad Street Bullies and something called Tyrannosaurus that he was like really dead set on.
Yeah, the biker movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they agreed and produced it, and we have still yet to see either one of those movies. Yep. So I'm wondering if he's in some weird fucking contract holdup where it's like, I'm not going to make money for these studios until I get these 2 movies that I've been promised. So he's had to like crowdfund and do all these like kind of out there things to like keep his name as a director going while like that's being figured out. That's my best bet.
Yeah. It's just really weird that like all like there are so many. I know people jump on the I hate Rob Zombie bandwagon, but there are so many worse directors that are still receiving decent budgets to make.
So I was thinking about this the other
movies.
day. I was thinking about Rob Zombie. I was thinking about Kevin Smith. I was thinking
He's
about
another one. He's another one.
I was thinking about a lot of these guys, and I think here's where the problem is. Here's where I think the issue lies with both of them, because I think both you and I would go on the record of saying that as much as we like most of Rob Zombie's output, we do not like 3 from Hell or 31.
Yes.
And those
Agreed.
are the crowd-funded, no one telling them they saying no to them movies. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think
I have
if
been
you-
thinking about rewatching 31. I really have not watched that since it was in the theater.
I watched it exactly once. Both of them I watched one time and was like,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
No thank you.
I think that there's something to be said about directors who very early in their career, Kevin Smith was his second movie, Rob Zombie from the very beginning, had to work within a studio with notes and like people keeping them accountable for stuff, and then they are able to like have their fans finance a movie and they can do whatever the hell they want. And it's like, yes, we have heard the stories of stupid notes that almost ruined movies or actively ruined movies.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that just creating a thing with absolutely no guidance or assistance is also a good idea. Like it's like there is that fine line. And I felt like The Munsters was kind of the first movie since Lords of Salem where I was into what Rob Zombie was doing again, because it felt like he wasn't going with whatever the fuck came to his mind. He was trying to tie a whole bunch of mythos that already existed into his and funneling it into his own little thing. And where I think that there were problems in Halloween when he tried to do that, I think that there weren't nearly as many problems with The Munsters when he tried to do that. And when I say problems, I just mean that Michael Myers works best when you know absolutely nothing about the man behind the mask. Giving us 45 minutes of his shitty family life and all that, like, super unnecessary, doesn't make the character any scarier or anything. It just really bloats the movie with like a longer running time than it needs to have. This, it was like, I like this. I like that, like, all of these pieces come together. I like that suddenly throughout the entire show, Grandpa talks to a bat named Igor, and like now we understand why that's the case. Like it's like all these little things where it's like his interpretation of the events and why they happened. And like, even watching that hats off video, as much as I respect that guy's content for the most part, I really disagreed with his input of like, I don't know what is going on with this movie with Herman and Lily. It feels like they've never watched an episode of The Munsters. It feels like they don't, like they're not capturing.
Though, like I don't understand. I don't know what these people are watching that I'm not.
That's what I'm feeling. Because here's the thing: the answer is like. One of the things that he pointed out was he's like, the show The Munsters was always like about how these monsters are living like regular human people and like they teach their kids about like love and compassion. He's like, and that's not captured at all in this movie. And I'm like, yeah, but it's also like by the time we see The Munsters, Eddie's like 10 years old.
Yep.
So they've had 10 years to become accustomed to living in the United States.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, that's my write-off for all of it, is like, yes, we're still seeing at least 10 years before any other version of The Munsters has ever taken place. Like, you know, like, yeah, maybe Herman's voice gets deeper as he gets older because he's like a whiny little 20-year-old kid in this movie.
Also,
and by the time
Fred Wynn's fucking dead, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's a different actor. Like,
yeah, it's a different. Well, and that's the other thing. It's like it's not even like it's an easily to like. I don't know that many people who I would say do a spot on Fred Gwynn impersonation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's got such a distinct voice and a distinct delivery. Like the best that you can do isn't even an impersonation of him. It's an impersonation of the South Park guys doing him on Pet Cemetery. You know, like
Oh
I don't
my
know.
God, I just-
oh, hello now, hells. Like
I don't know why this particular movie, like this is probably how people thought I felt about Halloween Kills. Like,
yeah. Yeah, because I feel like Halloween Kills, you were just like, this isn't worse than some of the worst sequels.
Yeah,
like it's still a
exactly.
bad movie, but it's not
Yes.
the worst movie.
But this, I'm like, I don't know what people wanted. I
Yeah.
don't know what they wanted. It was dumb kids movie. That's the show. That's
what it was
always
ever-
been the show. I don't know what. Like it literally makes me feel crazy. I don't know why people were so upset that it's campy. Duh. It's cliche. Yes. It's cringy. It always was. Like I don't understand, and I feel like
and I think it's visually really fun.
So fun, so colorful. Everything pops. Transylvania rules. I think the only complaint, like the only joke that
the
I
length
was like,
is
the
movie could be shorter.
Yeah, the movie could definitely be shorter. We'll talk about that in a second. But the only thing that I stopped and was like, oh, people are gonna hate this, was Disco Vampire. Like that's the only thing that I was watching and going,
but
people are
again,
gonna hate this. But I
Disco
fucking laughed.
Disco Vampire, but I would even argue Disco Vampire is no different than anything that we just described with when you watch the fucking Hotel Transylvania movies. It's, like it is what it is.
I liked it.
This was like if they did The Haunted World of El Super Beasto as a kids movie.
Yeah.
It really was like a living cartoon. And like I read an interview where he said like I wanted to shoot in black and white. They said I couldn't. So I went with the complete opposite effect.
Yeah.
Let's just make those colors so saturated that it feels like you're watching a living cartoon the entire time.
And
I enjoyed it.
Like people are like, oh, well, why didn't he shoot it in black and white? You know, the original Munsters was only in black and white because they didn't have color yet.
Well, that's not true.
It's not true?
That's not true. The
That's
Munsters
not
was
true?
like in the
When was
60s.
I thought the Munsters was like way back when.
No, it was 1962.
Okay, cut all this. But
No, but
Cut all
but
this!
So like
okay, regardless, but like, fuck you.
because
All
when the
right,
Munsters
I'm
got
just going
canceled and they
crazy,
made
okay.
you're going a little nuts. But yes,
Sorry.
the Munsters is just like the only thing that I would have liked to have had, and I said this to my brother way back when. I almost feel like this movie could have done with a laugh track. Like I think that would have been great. Like because what made the first Munsters, I for the most part hate laugh tracks.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think you and I are both on that. But I mentioned this literally this week on or a week or two ago on Before My Time. We did a thing about the Munsters to tie in with the movie, and I said like the Munsters is one of those exceptions to the laugh track because it's almost exactly like having a laugh track in the Flintstones. It's not supposed to be believable as a laugh track. It's supposed to be highlighting how much of a satire of the sitcoms of that era the show actually is. Like the Munsters is so like it's literally like, hey, what if we just did Leave It to Beaver with a bunch of monsters and then trying to hit every beat of Leave It to Beaver, including the over the top like canned laughter after every single joke.
All right. I want to back up a little bit. Okay, because I don't know if you can see me. My fucking eyes are going and I'm typing and shit. This is more what I meant. Most television back in that
was in
era
black and white.
was in
Yeah.
black and white. Not that color wasn't possible, but like it was the norm at the time.
Yeah.
So like I don't feel like black and white was essential here. If Rob wanted to do it that way, perfect. I don't think like filming in black and white does a good movie make. Like,
No.
do I think this is amazing? No. If I would have saw this when I was 7 years old, I would watch this every fucking Halloween.
Well, I think you and I both texted like it's a 90s Fox kids show. Like
Yeah.
that's what it feels like.
It felt like, and I said this when the trailer came out, it felt like when Fox Family redid the Addams Family as a TV show, and no one ever talks about that they did that.
I remember watching the shit out of that show though.
Yeah.
Like
That's
but,
what
all
it
right.
reminds me of. The sets, the acting, it's all over the top. It's all the Munsters, man. And I don't know what people expected. And I'm also tired of people acting like they get home from work every day and watch the fucking Munsters. You haven't watched the Munsters in forever. Like, don't.
Well,
act-
I mean, I.
You are
sometimes
an
will put up-
anomaly, dude. Don't act like you're the fucking norm. Like,
so
let's
there's
be
only one
real
other
here.
thing. There's only one other thing I want to bring up.
Yeah.
It has not had nearly as much of a hot take discourse. In fact, The only people that I've heard really shitting on this movie are people who are really trying to
God,
complain about how woke. Well, you'll find out in a second.
Okay.
The only time I hear people complain is like people trying to complain about how woke we are turning things that they love.
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus 2 also dropped, and it was fun.
It's okay.
It was fun as hell.
It's all right.
But
I've that's another one. I've had plenty of conversations about like, oh, it's not as good as the original. I said, the original wasn't good. It's just like it's okay. It's fine.
It's literally
a movie.
mocked.
Like,
I yelled at a friend because they were like, well, it didn't have the cult classic vibe that the original had. I'm like, well, the original had 30 years to build up a cult classic vibe. This movie's been out.
Start as a cult classic. That's not what a cult classic is. Like that's not.
And they laughed as soon as I said that. I'm like, hey, you're not gonna have a cult classic vibe 24 hours after your release. That's not how that works.
I'm like,
but
the only thing I didn't like about Hocus Pocus 2 is, and it's because every other sequel has ingrained this in me, is I wish we got to see like Max and like you wouldn't see Biggs, but
I think that they were in the original. So there was an original
novel.
Hocus. And they're in the novel, but I think the novel was based on a rejected script. And then once the novel came out, they're like, well, shit, we're not going to use that script that we already released in bookstores, so we have to write something different.
Like, that would have just been cool. Like, maybe instead of having the magic shop owner, or maybe make the magic shop owner like the kid sister from the first one.
Something, yeah.
That would have been cool. Like, but even the way it is, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I've seen a handful of people that are just like, well, why are they trying to make Hocus Pocus more accessible to kids in the 2022s? It's like, because it's fucking Disney, and they're trying to appeal to everyone.
And also, it's 2022.
Yeah.
Do you think if the original was made right now, it would be like it was back in the 90s?
No. Well, my favorite complaint, and I won't say you said it,
because there's black girls in it. Like
that's exactly what it is.
That's why people are upset.
I saw someone complain because there was drag queens in it. They're like, you got to shove these drag queens in there. I'm like, it's starring fucking Bette Midler.
Oh
like,
my God.
Like
oh
one
my
of the
God.
biggest like gay icons in history. Like,
also, I don't know if you're like, wait, yes, you are. You're super into the drag scene.
I was so excited when I saw them in there.
There's so many fucking like drag queens that drag as the Sanderson sisters.
Yeah,
like,
it only made
it's a
sense.
Thing. It's a community.
Yeah.
What the fuck? like it's the same thing as this goddamn Lizzo flute. Like these people didn't know about the fucking flute before a large black woman picked it up and was filmed playing it. Because these people are fucking racist, dude. Like, let's just fucking say it.
No,
I'm so sorry that, like, I'm getting...
it's true.
I'm like...
And the thing that they are most racist against is monsters being able to have a monsters holiday.
Dude, at this point, Matt's just like, we need to fucking go. Dylan's blood pressure's up. I can feel it.
No, so, Dylan, we went all over the damn place this week.
Monsters Holiday, not great. The Munsters and Hocus Pocus 2, okay. And
pretty good.
Yeah, I like them both.
I'll give them a firm, pretty good.
Yeah. A firm, they exist, and, like, they're good. Like, it's okay for things to be good. That's what I want to say, is we, as especially horror fans, do not
it's either
allow
the best
things
or worst
to be
ever.
good. Things are okay. Things can be okay, and it not be incredible. We watched The Black Phone the other night. I saw people like raving about it. It ended and I'm like, that was all right.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else people want, man.
I actually I'm thinking about it right now, and I hate to say this, but like 2022, I still haven't seen the movie this year that really blew me the fuck away. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, the Monsters
I remember
is all like
it might be Scream. It honestly might be Scream 5 for me.
Dude, I forgot that was 2022.
Yeah. Oh, well, you shouldn't have, because you made us talk about the Scream movies enough goddamn times to promote it.
Well, you still have a Blu-ray for me.
I do. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere.
So last night, we're sitting on the couch.
I'm going to stop you right now to say that I saw your Facebook status, and I was like, is he talking about the original, or is he trolling people with the one that came out?
No.
Just
You know me too well.
because I also was gonna say that to you when you were like, man, I am done with having discords about movies on the internet, and I was like, Dylan, I agree with you, but you also have the most like come at me bro statuses I've ever seen in my life.
So let me say, the Fright Night remake is great. Okay,
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing.
I know,
it's just that you. It's like you don't even read your status and think, man, are people going to be shitty about this before you hit post? Because as soon as I read it, I'm like, oh, I'm staying away from that comment section. I'll just hit the heart real quick and then just keep on moving.
Teddy and I are sitting down, and she's got her Switch, and I've got I just ordered a Steam Deck. For those of you who don't know that, it's basically like a laptop in the form of a Switch, but you can put computer games on it. So we're both playing this like Disney Dreamlight Valley game where you get to hang out with all these like Disney characters. Did you hear her in the background? Yeah, you get to hang out with like all these Disney characters and make friends with Merlin and all this shit. It's really cool. So I'm sitting there playing this, and I'm like, it's October. We need to do something spooky. At 9:30, I put on 1974's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That movie is vile, bro. That movie rules. It's so fucking good.
All right, so we have gotten so off the topic. Dylan, happy Monsters holiday, buddy.
Happy Monsters holiday, man.
Oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great, great, great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.